So just wanted to talk a little bit about keywords and how I do keyword selection. Okay, so understanding the keywords, I suppose there's two types of keywords that a lot of people think about. There's browsing phrases and then there's buying phrases. So a browsing phrase is someone's typing camera in Google. Imagine getting into the headspace, like almost imagine yourself drifting out of your mind and then drifting down into the searcher. What's the searcher thinking? They're probably thinking, I just want some general information about cameras. I'm still in the research mode. I'm not at the point yet where I'm going to make a purchase. That's going to be vastly different from someone who's using a buying phrase. A buying phrase might be like the Sony Handycam HDR S11. I'm looking for a specific model and I know exactly what it is that I'm going after. So when we target keywords, typically speaking, the browsing phrases may have a higher number of searches, but they're not going to convert nearly as highly as one of these more targeted, longer tail phrases. When I have a look at working with local business, the same sort of thing applies, and I try and get in the headspace of what would the person who's wanting to find a dentist be looking. They might not necessarily type dentist. They're looking for a dentist in a specific area. So a lot of what we actually do with local businesses, it's all about geographic targeting and making sure that we're targeting the right suburbs and the right spaces. So again, just talked about the idea of imagining yourself drifting out of your head, down into your searcher, and imagine yourself as you are that person. That's the best advice I can give you on that. Now, as far as the way that I build keywords for local businesses, it varies significantly when I compare the way that I build keywords for like the stock market niche and some of the other niches that I operate in relative to local business. When we first started working with a few clients, we installed Google Analytics and I was monitoring the stats, and I'm used to dealing with websites that are getting over 1,000 unique visitors a day because I'm in these hyper competitive niches. And then I come to the dentist's website and then I see a spike. Sure, we doubled the traffic and he's now getting like 30 uniques a day, and in my mind I'm sitting there going, what's going on here? But then when I talk to the client is absolutely over the moon because they're so much more highly targeted. Like if someone's searching Dentist South Yarra, they've got a real need that they want solved right now, and they convert incredibly highly. So when you compare doing local search and local online marketing, you can get a lot less traffic, but they'll convert at a lot higher rate. So the way that I actually go through and identify what keywords I'm going to work with for a particular client, we already have an idea as part of that initial research to find out, well, what are their top products and services, and I make sure that I understand those products and services. And then I jump over to the Google Free Keyword Tool. If you haven't seen that, just head over to Google and search Google Free Keyword Tool and it'll be the #1 listing, or using Market Samurai. You can get away with using the Google Free Keyword Tool. It's free, it's a good place to start. And then once you go, yep, this is something that I want to get into, you might look at investing in Market Samurai.
Explain really quickly what the keyword tool actually does.
Yeah, yep. So let's just quickly pop over to Google. So the main reason I use this is I'll go for the root product and service that the client is offering. So, it might be root canal, or it might be ISO consulting, or I'll find out what the root service is that they're looking for, and then I'll search it within this free keyword tool to determine if it's something that someone is searching. Now, how this varies when I compare local business to my stock market business, I do a lot deeper analysis to determine what keywords I can go after based on how much competition there is. Like I said, in the SEO space, the SEO and also the stock market space, we're going after some pretty big competitors. So I need to make sure that I'm picking the right keywords that aren't, someone else hasn't built a whole lot of backlinks to and done a lot of SEO work. But when I work with local business, it's completely different. You should be able to dominate Melbourne, insert industry name, like that. So I always go for the most competitive phrases that I can find. So for example, having a look here, you can see you can turn on some columns and turn off columns, just having a look under, customize columns here. But just make sure that you turn your global monthly views on. And if I have a look here, these are the types of phrases. I just want to make sure that I've got phrases that people are actually searching for. So if I had a decision that I needed to make, am I going to choose implant dentists or am I going to choose cosmetic dentists? Because I've only got a certain number of pages that I can optimize on the website until we start building the blog with them. I'll go for cosmetic dentists. So in the local space, I always go for the most competitive term that I can, because we'll just drop in the area modifier in front and you should have no worries going for it. And if you think about the psychology of the way that we selected Melbourne SEO services, think about that. We went for Melbourne SEO services. We dominated that space almost straight away for Melbourne SEO services, and we've only been in the SEO space for, a few months after the start of this year. We're already in position number 1 for that. Now our next target, the good thing about targeting the keywords as I'm teaching you how to do it now is then once you do that, all of your link building benefit that you've been funneling back to that page going for Melbourne SEO services, we can now break the word down and go for the tighter niche, which is SEO services, because we've already got Melbourne SEO services, and all of that link building and good stuff that I'm going to go through this afternoon, all of it still applies and runs over to this keyword because it's like a broken down version of it. So you can see now we're going for SEO space, and look at that, just under the maps, and we're on Google Local there. When you consider we're going up against SEO companies here in Australia, we've been online for 3 months, and we're already just behind LTSEO, which is Mark and Dan, which I'm coming for you. We'll get that spot. But I just I think if you keep that in mind, going after these local markets, it's a walk in the park. So you need to just target the best keywords and add the modifiers. With the modifiers, I'd start off by going for Melbourne as you modify if you're in Melbourne, or whatever the biggest area is in your local area. Then later on we will go for the suburbs. You might go for your Preston, you might go for your Doncaster, all those types of things, but we'll do that in the blog once we start to build ongoing work. Just got a question, so I'll just let a mic run over.